Okay, in this video I'm going to be reading to you from the book of Enoch, and I'm going to be reading starting at chapter 6. Some of you are not too familiar with the book of Enoch. I will just say this: I love the book of Enoch, and it is in the oldest Bible in existence, the Ethiopian Bible, which is approximately, give or take, 1500 years old. The book of Enoch was in there. Many people have said that the disciples really, they knew a lot of the book of Enoch. They knew all about it. Starting here in chapter 6. And it's amazing because it mirrors chapter 6 in the Bible with the content that it's talking about. And it's talking about the fallen angels and the giants and the men that, and the angels, the fallen angels that created these giants with human women. So that is an amazing thing that it's in the same chapter, starting in the same chapter. But the beauty about the book of Enoch is that it goes into details that the Bible does not go into. I think that's why a lot of people really like the book of Enoch, is because it gives you details about the giants and about the angels and about a lot of things that the Bible doesn't get too specific about. So we're going to take a look here. Book of Enoch, chapter 6. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. So it's just talking about men having beautiful daughters. Humans. And the angels. You see, now, this is the beauty about the book of Enoch. The Bible says the sons of God. And that has left some contention, because some people say, well, the sons of God could have been just like kings and rulers, or the sons of Seth, which the majority of people don't take that at all. But it's a doctrine that was created because of the wording in the Bible, the sons of God. Because we're called sons of God once we're saved. But the book of Enoch doesn't beat around the bush, so to speak. It straight up says the angels, so there's no confusion. Again, this is why I love the book of Enoch. One of the reasons. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them. You see, and the words that it uses, it doesn't leave anything into the imagination. It tells you exactly what was happening. So you have angels lusting after human beautiful women. And, from a human point of view, as a guy, I understand why men lust after women, but I guess it's really bad when angels do it. So, here we go. And said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and begat us children. So the angels said amongst themselves, let's go choose wives from the human women. That's amazing. It's incredible stuff. And they actually said, let us have children from these human women. You see, this is the whole thing. This ain't aliens. We're talking about angels here, okay? No aliens. If you want to call angels aliens, that's one thing. But it's about this. That's why all of this UFO stuff, what do? People always say, they took me up, and they took my DNA, and they took my semen, or they took my eggs from my ovaries. Or sometimes women claim that they came back pregnant. It's because of this stuff right here. And Simjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. Wow. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. Now, if you Google what is on top of Mount Hermon, this mountain in the middle of nowhere, you have a United Nations base at the top of this lone mountain called Mount Hermon. Now, why is that? Very amazing stuff. And they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders: Simyazaz, their leader; Arakiba, Ramiel, Kokabel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakel, Asael, Ameros, Batarel, Ananel, Zachiel, Samsapil, Satarel, Tiriel, Jomjael, and Sariel. These are their chiefs of tens. Now, this is amazing, because if you look at the names of the angels, just like in some of the prophets and people in the Bible, it ends with L. Did you hear all the L, L, L? Well, L means God. If you spell it out, E-L means God. So God attaches his name to angels and to people. Or not, it's not his name, but this decree, so to speak. I'm not sure about the right word to use that, but you'll find it like Daniel, E-L at the end. Or like angels, good angels like Raphael, Gabriel, Michael. That means God at the end. It's not that they're God, but he attaches, it's like an attachment, so to speak. Now here we get to some interesting things here. Very interesting. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. So they were laying with human women. And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great, here it is, giants, whose height was 3,000 ells. 3,000 ells. An ell is about anywhere from 15 to 18 inches, I think, an ell. 3,000 ells, the Book of Enoch, pre-flood giants, were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet tall. And if you look at petrified giants on Google, you'll see that these mountains, some of the mountains, they look like huge giants. You could see the faces in the petrified wood. The pre-flood world, we know even that animals were huge back in the day. They even show you this. How they show you these, 3-foot wide mosquitoes in the rocks. And they show you the megalodon, which is like 3 times the size of a great white. Well, these giants were 3,000 ells. So they were like thousands of feet tall. Imagine that. It's hard to imagine, but once you see the petrified giants online, and you're like, wow, they really got that big. That's incredible. Who consumed all the acquisitions of men, and when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against men and devoured mankind. Man-eaters. It's like that song, she's a man-eater. I don't know if there's any connection to there, but that's what they did. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drink the blood drinkers. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. So you see how the book of Enoch gives us detail into what the giants actually did. They drank blood, they ate the men, and they sinned against the animals. How did they? It says they sinned against them. What does that mean? Doesn't mean eat them. I don't know exactly what that means, but it doesn't sound good. Chapter 8. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. Samjaza taught enchantments and root cutting, Amaros the resolving of enchantments, Barakiel taught astrology, Kokabil the constellations, Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds, Erikiel the signs of the earth, Shamsiel the signs of the sun, and Sariel the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. Now, the interesting thing to point out about this is this. I think that when it talks about them teaching them about the clouds and about the constellations and about the sun, well, the Bible says that the sun, the moon, and the stars are there for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. So there's the knowledge that God taught about them, or that was lawful, and then the things that these angels taught about these things, I think were unlawful things about these things. Possibly how to manipulate them, possibly with technology, possibly with witchcraft, right? So again, remember that everything lawful that is godly, Satan, it has a counterpart to that, a dark way of taking what is light and twisting it, just like it says in the Bible that his wisdom was corrupted, and taking wisdom and twisting it just a little bit and corrupting it. So there is a dark and a light. But remember, a lot of the dark things take from the light. They use what is created and they make something else out of it, you see. So I think that's what that talks about. Because the sun, the moon, and the stars are there for signs, seasons, days, and years, but not the way that they taught them. You see, in the constellations and all that. So it was twisted wisdom. Chapter 9. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven, these are the good angels, and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, the earth made without inhabitants cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. So we have angels seeing and hearing men cry to heaven, cry to the Most High about what is going on earth. Incredible stuff here. And they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generations of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou. And all things are naked and open in thy sight, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou seest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed, now look at this, and revealed the eternal secrets, which were preserved in heaven which men were striving to learn. That's where I wanted to get to. You see, these angels that came down and did these things, they revealed eternal secrets that were preserved in heaven. Well, what could that be? All this technology. What we see right now, this phone that I'm talking on, do you think that this is part of those eternal secrets? The knowledge of good and evil. Knowledge, certain knowledge. You see, the book of Enoch tells us directly that there are secrets in heaven that were revealed, that were never supposed to be revealed to men, and men were striving to learn them. This is why I love the book of Enoch. It's because that's amazing to know exactly what is going on. You see, and I believe that a lot of this technology was part of those eternal secrets from heaven that were never supposed to be revealed to man, giving man great power and authority over other people, right? Because when you can control the weather, they've created an artificial sun. They create just things that naturally cannot be created with man's own mind. It's from heaven. Heavenly technology, heavenly eternal secrets preserved. So that's where I'm going to stop. I don't want to make this video too long. I wanted to give you a taste of the book of Enoch and how great it is to me, in fact. And I hope you enjoyed it. Check it out. Get it for yourself, the first book of Enoch. There's so much in here that will blow your mind. It even says that the sun and the moon are the exact same size. Just like when you look up in the heavens. Sun looks the same size as the moon. Why is that? Because they are the same size. Because they're much smaller than we've been told. And because they're in the firmament. The dome that is above the flat earth. And they go round about. Do their circuits. Just like Psalms 19 verse 6 says. But there's a lot of amazing jewels in here just like that are not in the Bible. Not to take away anything from the Bible, but just to add. That's an amazing jewel that we have an ancient text saying that the sun and the moon are the same size. Especially if you're a flat earther like me, which it's really just called true biblical creation. Type in biblical cosmology on Google, click images, and you will see that nothing comes up but flat earth for biblical cosmology. So thank you guys for listening. Thought this would be a very interesting video.